Hi, folks. This is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report. You know, I talk to you so often about the different lures that I use, and I try to pass it on to you. One of the things that I've used more and more as I've got older, but hopefully got a little bit smarter, I don't know, is soft plastics. You can do so much with soft plastic baits, but in using them, because, well, first of all, before I go on, they represent just about anything that a fish would ever want to hit. And the difference is I can use them with a hook setup that is conducive, in my mind, for keeping the fish alive so that they can go back and we can catch them again and again. I don't like to use treble hooks, especially small treble hooks, because and I say small because the smaller the treble hooks are, the easier they're going to be for the fish to swallow them instantly. And then you're just ripping their stomach out when you try to pull the hooks out of them. So I use single hooks. But I think it's important to talk about how to care for these soft plastics because there's so many things. The best way to keep them the way the manufacturer wanted them, the best way is to keep them in the package that they came in. If they're in a plastic bag that seals itself, then that's what they should be kept in. Once you take them out of that package, number one, most of these soft plastics have a scent that's injected into them. And that scent is kept on them because these bags seal, and so you don't get more oxygen going in there and sort of diluting the aroma effect that the I'm stammering here because I'm trying to think of just how to say this, but the manufacturer put in there to make them work so well. So once you take them out of the package, even if you put them in a plastic tackle box, that's still, you're opening, closing it, and every time more air, and they're not going to have the same aroma. The second thing is, if you put them into a different type of substance, then it can affect the plastic. For example, a lot of the lures now are made of Elastec, it's called. It's a material that you can stretch and it won't come apart. It's really amazing, but it affects every other kind of plastic. And how it affects it is the two melt into each other and you just got a glob of plastic. So you don't want to put them even in a plastic tackle box because a lot of those plastic tackle boxes over time will react with this type of soft plastic bait. The other thing is, though, they have a certain shape. And the way they're packaged today, most of them are packaged to keep them exactly straight. So the paddle tail isn't bent down, so they don't form their own shape and bend that they will once they're put pressure on them by being in a different type of surface. So there's so many reasons for keeping them separate, keeping them the way they were. Now, a lot of times the way they were in their own bag or whatever isn't the best thing for us because we need to put hooks in them. We need to put jig heads in them. And in a lot of cases, you can't really do that out on the water very effectively. You'll put them in crooked, you'll do all the, and if you do it in advance, it makes it easier for them to look good in the water. But your care of these soft plastics is so critical. And I've mentioned it so many times, but I think it's that important because each year there's new chemicals within the plastic, new versions formed to make them even more appealing to the fish, but can make them even more difficult for us to keep in that shape. And I've told you how the plastics, if you mix two different types of plastics together, they'll melt into each other. If you mix them together a lot, and they made it a little better now, but the dyes that they use to color them will run into each other. So you might put a creamy colored plastic bait along with a red one, and then after a while they'll become pink, or they'll have streaks of one color and another. And while maybe that would be the secret wonderful bait that nobody else has, chances are it won't be as good. And the plastic will eat against the living rubber that they put on spinnerbait and jig skirts. There's just so many reasons why how you store these can be so important. And the final thing is, if you're fishing small waters and streams like I do, it's not easy to carry much with you. So you almost have to mix them. And if you do, in other words, mix some paddle tails and some straight tails and some different type of jig heads all in a little bag that'll go in your vest or in your pocket or whatever, because you can't be carrying big tackle boxes if you're going to walk a mile down the stream. So what I'm getting at is we all have unique and individual needs and ways of fishing, but the way we take care of our baits, especially soft plastic baits, is absolutely critical if we want to keep them and use them in the years to come. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report.